In this section of the test, you will have an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to understand conversations and talks in English. There are 3 parts to this section, with special directions for each part. Answer all the questions on the basis of what is stated or implied by the speakers you hear. Directions. In Part A, you will hear short conversations between 2 people. After each conversation, you will hear a question about the conversation. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers on the computer screen and choose the best answer. Then, click on the answer you have chosen. Listen to an example.
That exam was just awful.
Oh, it could have been worse.
What does the woman mean? On the computer screen, you read A. The exam was really awful. B. It was the worst exam she had ever seen. C. It couldn't have been more difficult. D. It wasn't that hard. You learn from the conversation that the man thought the exam was very difficult and that the woman disagreed with the man. The best answer to the question, "What does the woman mean?" is D. It wasn't that hard. Therefore, the correct choice is D.
I can't do anything else now. I'm famished.
Then let's go have a snack. That should help.
Number 1. What does the man mean?
Aren't you going on a trip today?
Yes, I am. In fact, I'll be leaving in just a few minutes.
Number 2. What does the woman mean?
There's a movie I really wanted to see. Does that sound like a good idea to you?
I'll say.
Number 3. What does the man mean?
This project has me mystified. I'm just not sure what to do next.
Did you read over the instructions that we were given?
Yes, I did. I read through them a number of times, but they just didn't seem at all useful.
Number 4. What does the man say about the instructions?
Who is that over there next to the mailbox? Could it be Brandon?
I can't really tell from here.
Number 5. What does the woman mean?
Oh no, I have a problem.
What's the matter?
I brought the blue notebook with me instead of the red one, and the information I need is in the one I don't have with me.
Number 6. What does the woman have with her?
What did Professor Randall say about our lab reports? Do they have to be typed?
He'll accept handwritten reports as long as they aren't illegible.
In that case, I guess I'd better type mine.
Number 7. What does the woman mean?
Do you know what time the lecture is supposed to begin? I want to get there in plenty of time so that I don't miss a word of it.
It begins at 3 o'clock, doesn't it?
Number 8. What can be inferred from the woman's response?
I'm taking this book back to the library now.
So you do have the book.
Number 9. What had the woman assumed?
So, how do you like the great outdoors? The mountains, the forest, the running brook?
I'd like it better if these mosquitoes weren't chewing me to bits.
Number 10. What does the man mean?
You're going to walk all the way across campus in just a sweater?
Sure. Why not?
But it's so cold and cloudy outside, and it looks like rain.
Number 11. What is the woman concerned about?
I know you're going to be out of town for a few days. Is there anything I can do to help?
If you could, I'd appreciate it if you would look after my fish. Really, all you have to do is feed them twice a day.
Number 12. What does the woman ask the man to do?
We've gone over these figures 3 times, and they still don't come out right.
I wish I had brought my calculator. It would have been a lot easier.
And we'd be done by now.
Number 13. What does the woman mean?
How is the research coming for your thesis? You should almost be finished collecting your data by now.
Unfortunately, I lost most of the data when the computer system went down.
Number 14. What does the man mean?
I hope you got into the same psychology class that I did. If you did, then we can work on the same team for the class project.
Unfortunately, that class was closed by the registrar because it was over-enrolled.
Number 15. What does the woman say about the class?
Are you going to be studying for the biology exam tonight? Maybe you'd like to study with me.
I would. After all, 2 heads are better than 1.
Number 16. What does the woman mean?
I can't believe that Rob actually got the highest grade on this physics exam.
He's really turned over a new leaf. Last semester, he would have had the lowest.
Number 17. What does the woman say about Rob?
Are you going to take the evening section of American history next semester?
I don't think I can. I have a part-time job in the late afternoons, and I'm seldom able to finish work in time to get to a 7 o'clock course.
Number 18. What has the man decided?
Where did you get this book bag? I've never seen anything like it.
Isn't it wonderful? It holds everything I need and keeps it all organized. I came across it at the university bookstore. You could get one there for yourself.
Number 19. What does the man say about the book bag?
I can't wait until finals are over.
Have you been studying much for your finals?
I've been studying so much that I can't fit anything more in my brain.
Number 20. What does the woman mean?
Are you going to be finished soon?
I just need to pull a few more weeds, and then what are the plans?
Number 21. What is the woman most likely doing?
We'll miss you on the ski trip. Are you sure you can't make it?
If only I didn't have this term paper to finish.
Number 22. What can be inferred about the woman?
I'd like to talk with you about my paycheck for last week. I think that the amount is too low by about $20.
I'll look into the situation and get back to you tomorrow.
Number 23. What does the woman promise to do?
We have to find the mistake in this accounting problem before we can turn it in.
We've got 20 pages of information and calculations. I don't even know where to begin searching for the mistake.
It is a bit like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Number 24. What does the woman mean?
Which brand of paint do you think we should get?
How about this one? It costs a little bit more, but it's never supposed to peel, crack, or fade. You just paint once, and it lasts for a lifetime.
Anything that claims to do all that must be overrated.
Number 25. What does the man think about the paint?
There's just too much noise on this floor of the library. It's too hard to get work done.
I can't tolerate the noise any longer either. Why don't we try a different spot in the library?
Number 26. What does the woman say about the noise?
I'm sure the professor said to read only chapters 5 and 7 for tomorrow.
So we don't have to read chapter 6, too.
Number 27. What had the woman assumed?
I'm not sure if this issue is worth any of your time, but it is important to me.
The issue that you're raising is not insubstantial.
Number 28. What does the woman mean?
Where was Carl during the orientation?
He said he couldn't figure out where to go, so he missed it.
Well, no one else had a problem finding the right place.
Number 29. What can be inferred from the conversation?
I'm not sure exactly how to perform the next step in this experiment.
Me neither, but if Jimmy were here, he'd know what to do.
Number 30. What does the woman say about Jimmy? Part B. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear longer conversations. After each conversation, you will hear several questions. The conversations and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers on the computer screen and choose the best answer. Then click on the answer you have chosen. Questions 31 through 34. Listen to a conversation between 2 students. The conversation is about a debate in economics class.
Are you prepared for the debate in economics class? It's tomorrow, you know.
Not yet. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to prepare for it.
Well, you know that the debate is going to be on free trade.
I know. So we really need to understand free trade because we're having a debate on free trade.
That's right.
But what I don't understand is what the professor means by debate.
Well, a debate is an organized discussion, but you won't discuss both sides. You have to argue either for or against something.
So I need to be prepared to argue for or against free trade?
Not exactly. The professor said we need to be prepared for both sides of the debate.
You mean we have to be prepared to argue either for free trade or against free trade?
Exactly. Then, in class on the day of the debate, the professor will choose students and assign them to a team to argue one side of the debate or the other.
So the professor will assign us to argue either for free trade or against free trade? We don't get to choose which side of the debate we will argue?
Exactly.
So we have to be prepared for both sides of the debate.
That's exactly right.
Number 31. When is the debate? Number 32. How does the woman describe a debate? Number 33. How are they supposed to prepare for the debate? Number 34. What will happen on the day of the debate? Questions 35 through 38. Listen to a conversation between two students. The conversation is about schedule changes.
Do you know if there's still time to change my schedule? I know that classes have already started, but I really need to change one of my courses.
Yes, there's still time to change your class schedule. It's possible to change courses until the end of the first week of classes, so you still have a couple more days to change your classes.
Today's Wednesday of the first week. You mean that I have until Friday to change my classes?
Yes. You'll need to get an add drop form, fill it out, get it signed, and then submit it by 5 o'clock this Friday. Do you know how you want to change your schedule?
Yes, I do. Right now I'm taking the highest level composition class, and it's too hard. I need to take the lower level course.
Who's the professor of the higher level composition course?
It's Professor Grant.
And do you know who's teaching the lower level composition course?
Professor Grant is also teaching that course.
So the same professor is teaching both courses. That makes it easy. All you need to do is get an add drop form from the office and get it signed by Professor Grant. Usually you have to get signatures from two different professors, but because the same professor is teaching the course you want to drop and the course you want to add, you just have to see one professor.
And I have 2 more days to get the form, get the signature, and then turn the signed form in at the office.
Exactly.
Number 35. When does this conversation take place? Number 36. What does the student need to do? Number 37. What does the woman say about the composition courses? Number 38. Who is teaching the composition courses? Part C. Directions. In this part of the test, you will hear several talks. After each talk, you will hear some questions. The talks and questions will not be repeated. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers on the computer screen and choose the best answer. Then click on the answer you have chosen. Here is an example. Listen to an instructor talk to his class about painting.
Artist Grant Wood was a guiding force in the school of painting known as American Regionalist, a style reflecting the distinctive characteristics of art from rural areas of the United States. Wood began drawing animals on the family farm at the age of 3, and when he was 38, one of his paintings received a remarkable amount of public notice and acclaim. This painting, called American Gothic, is a starkly simple depiction of a serious couple staring directly out at the viewer.
Now listen to a sample question. What style of painting is known as American Regionalist? On the computer screen, you read A. Art from America's inner cities. B. Art from the central region of the United States. C. Art from various urban areas in the United States. D. Art from rural sections of America. The best answer to the question, what style of painting is known as American Regionalist, is D. Art from rural sections of America. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Questions 39 through 42. Listen to a lecture by a professor in a geology course. The lecture is on coal.
Today I'll be talking about coal and how it was formed. Coal is a rock that is mostly made of carbon. It can, in fact, be up to 90% carbon. Coal has been formed from the remains of living plant life. When plants die and are put under pressure for millions of years, coal is formed. Thus, for coal to form, 3 things are required: lots of dead plant life, lots of pressure on the dead plant life, and the passage of lots of time. Most of today's coal began to form about 350 million years ago. The period of time 350 million years ago, when coal began forming, was called the Carboniferous period. Even though Carboniferous is a rather long name, I think you can understand that the name Carboniferous contains the word carbon. The period is called the Carboniferous period because it's when coal began forming, and coal is mostly made of carbon. During the Carboniferous period 350 million years ago, the land was covered with huge forests and considerable plant life. There was much more plant life covering the land than there is today. When the huge forests of the Carboniferous period died, they came under pressure, and over millions of years became the coal deposits of today.
Number 39. What is stated about coal and carbon? Number 40. What is not mentioned as necessary for coal to form? Number 41. How long ago did coal begin forming? Number 42. What does the professor say about the Carboniferous period? Questions 43 through 46. Listen to a lecture by a professor in an astronomy course. The lecture is on the rotation of the Earth.
The topic for today is the Earth and its rotation. Even though you can't feel it, the Earth is constantly spinning around on its axis, which passes through the North and South poles. A day is the amount of time it takes for the Earth to make one complete turn on its axis. An interesting point I'd like you to note about the rotation of the Earth on its axis is that this rotation, or spin, is very gradually slowing down. The Earth of today isn't spinning as fast on its axis as it was in the past. Scientists have determined that around 400 million years ago, a year was around 400 days long, around 35 days longer than the 365-day year of today. There were more days in a year because the Earth was spinning faster around its axis. Thus, the days were shorter, and it took more of these shorter days for the Earth to complete its yearly rotation around the Sun. This slow decrease in the rotation of the Earth on its axis is, of course, expected to continue. and thus the number of days in a year should continue to decrease as the rotation of the Earth on its axis decreases. However, you have little to worry about yourselves from this. You may have noted that this decrease in the spin of the Earth on its axis and the resulting decrease in the number of days in a year have taken place over a period of 400 million years, or less than 1 day every 10 million years. So yes, this decrease in the speed of rotation of the Earth on its axis is expected to continue. But unless you're planning to be around for the next 10 million years, which is the amount of time it would take for the number of days in the year to decrease by 1 day from 365 to 364, you probably won't notice it.
Number 43. What point does the professor make about the rotation of the Earth? Number 44. How long ago was a year approximately 400 days in length? Number 45. What is expected to happen in the future? Number 46. How long will it take for the number of days in a year to decrease by 1 day? Questions 47 through 50. Listen to a talk by a professor in a political science course. In the talk, the professor is explaining an assignment.
Today I will be explaining to you what I'm looking for in your research papers. As you should know from the course syllabus, there's a major research paper for this course. It should be a 20 to 25 page paper, and it counts as 50% of the grade in this course. As I said, it's a major assignment. The most important idea that I'd like you to understand is that this is a research paper. This means that what you write should be based on your research, and it's important for you to base your writing on very solid research. The best papers are those that are based on solid research. For research in a course like this, you should look at a variety of sources. You should, of course, look at books related to your topic, but books should not be your only sources. Journals are as important as books when you're conducting your research. Journals contain academic articles, and you should, of course, be aware of the academic articles that have been written on topics related to yours. Another important source for your research is government publications and documents. Government publications and documents present a different perspective, that of the government in relation to your topic. And finally, you may also want to include newspaper and magazine articles if your topic is one that might have been included in newspapers and magazines. I hope that I've clearly conveyed to you the importance of research in preparing this research paper. To have a successful research paper, you should have a large number of sources. 20 to 30 different sources is a minimum. And these sources should come from various types of material: books, journals, government sources, and newspapers and magazines. 2 weeks from today, I'd like you to turn in the first stage of this research assignment so that I can check on your progress. 2 weeks from today, you should turn in your topic and an initial list of the sources you've found so far. You'd better get to work. You have 2 weeks to come up with a topic and begin the search for sources.
Number 47. How does the professor describe the paper? Number 48. What is not mentioned as a possible source? Number 49. How many different sources are required? Number 50. What should be submitted in 2 weeks?